Alright, so not so great news, but there is some hope. As you can see in the title, it is confirmed that Michonne will be leaving in Season 10, but AMC is planning for her to return in the Rick Grimes movie trilogy. This was reported today by The Hollywood Reporter. It is official. The word is also that she's going to be returning for a handful of episodes in Season 10. So it is similar to what happened with Rick and Maggie. Like basically almost the exact same thing. After the season got renewed, we found out that they're going to be returning just for a couple episodes. But both of them did survive. They are planning for her to return in the Rick movie, so Michonne most likely will also be surviving. So in today's video, we're going to discuss the article by The Hollywood Reporter and what they had to say about it, and then also talk a little bit about what we can expect to happen with her character moving forward. Alright, so it was confirmed, and this is from The Hollywood Reporter. They said, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that Gurira, who officially joined the series in Season 3 as iconic katana-wielding badass Michonne, I love that, has signed a deal to return for her final season of the zombie drama. So opposed to like, Norman and Melissa, who signed 3-year deals, they most likely are going to be on the show until Season 12 or the end of the show, until whenever the end is. But Danai Gurira only signed the deal for Season 10, a handful of episodes, so she won't be, in Season 11 and 12. Moving on, they said under her new deal, Gurira will return in a limited capacity, described as only a handful of episodes that will be interspersed throughout Season 10. That is a very interesting point. The actress, playwright, and social activist will then likely segue to the 3 Walking Dead movies that AMC is planning with former leading man Andrew Lincoln. The latter has played the central role of Rick Grimes since the pilot and departed in the first half of Season 9. Alright, so that gives us some hope. Couple interesting things here. So they mentioned that it's going to be throughout Season 10, so I don't remember them saying that about, Rick and Maggie. So maybe her character will just be in episodes, like a couple episodes in the first half, a couple episodes in the second half. I think that would actually work in a way that, it would make us feel like she really didn't leave. But again, they just worded that really weird. But if they're actually coming out and saying that she's done after Season 10, I feel like it's gonna be like an arc with like Rick and Maggie. I feel like it's gonna be like maybe the first half of Season 10, and then she's gonna be gone. But segueing into the Rick Grimes movies, yes, that's what I like to hear. That's what gets me excited, because if you watch my videos, you know that I've been saying, in order for The Walking Dead to completely feel complete, like the story, because there's no way the world is gonna have a happy ending, because the zombie apocalypse is not going away, but the characters should have a happy ending. And since we started this show with Rick, I feel like in order to finish this main series or the main story, I feel like there needs to be a reunion between Rick and Michonne and Judith. And if she is going to be segueing into the Walking Dead movies, we can still see that happening, and maybe even earlier, which is some great news, honestly, because maybe instead of reuniting in the 3rd movie, they reunite in the 2nd movie, which would honestly be really cool. Now, yes, obviously I would prefer, Michonne to stay on the show instead of that, but still, there's some good news in this, because, by the looks of it, she's not gonna die, because they are planning for her to return with the Rick movie. So she most likely is gonna have, there is a storyline from the comics that I'm gonna describe in a little bit that I could see giving to Michonne. It is a little bit more tricky though because of Judith and RJ, but by the looks of it, she's gonna survive and go off somewhere. And then David Madden, who is the AMC programming president, this is what he had to say about Danai Gurira. He said, she has been very vocal about saying that she loves the show. We love Danai, we love her character. Right now she's got a lot of opportunities and she needs to wait what she feels is best for her, but we certainly would want her on the show for as long as she wants to be on it. So yeah, that's basically the reason she's leaving. It's because of all the other things she's involved in, like especially Black Panther and Marvel, because Marvel essentially is like the biggest thing right now in the movie industry. So her having a big role in Black Panther, which just got nominated for like Best Picture, made over $1 billion in the box office, she obviously is gonna, and those movies take a long time to film, so that is really why she's having trouble with the deals, and it's what's best for her. But I'm really happy they're still trying to work it out and make it so she survives, so fans can see her again, with Rick. And she really is the best actress in the show right now, if you think about it. I think Danai Gurira is extremely underrated to begin with. Not a lot of people talk about her performance in The Walking Dead, but she is really, really good. So, none of this is a shocker or anything, because it only makes sense. As soon as she got cast for Black Panther a couple years ago, like, we knew that, she's going to start getting into more stuff because she's talented. But again, I'm very happy that, she will be surviving by the looks of it, because they're already done filming season 9. So, there's no way she's going to die in season 9. But, if they are planning for her to return in season 10, or with the Rick Grimes movie, she is going to be, surviving season 10. And killing Michonne, I think, would be a huge turnoff for fans. I think even more big of a turnoff than the Rick situation, because if you look at the ratings after Rick's final episode, the ratings did not drop that much. It was the same as it was from episode 1 of season 9 until episode 8 of season 9. So season 9 has maintained a good, the same amount of, viewers each episode, around the same, because the episodes are really good. They're all really good, and nobody's really leaving, especially, since Rick survived. People are sticking around because they know about the movies, they know he's alive out there somewhere, and plus the whispers. But still, I think if they killed Rick, it would be a totally different situation. And me, myself, personally, I'm waiting for that reunion. Now, I would watch the show no matter what, even if Rick ended up dying for some reason, I would still watch it. But a lot of people are waiting for that reunion, and if they kill Michonne, that's never gonna happen. And I think it's gonna be a big, disappointment, and a big, big letdown for the fans. And I think a lot of people then are gonna start leaving the show. So again, smart move by them. And I like this, how they care about the fans and they care about the story, because I feel like, we both, they know, like, the end game for them. Like, they know there needs to be a reunion because the story would feel incomplete, and things are getting in their way, but they're making room for it by making these spin-offs, and the actors are cooperating with it. And I really like that, because they obviously care about the fans and care about the story. And that's one of the things I really love about this show, that whenever there is bad news, there's always something good with it. Like, I remember when the Rick news came out, everybody was like, including myself, I was in such denial. If you go back and watch my videos from May, like, I was in ultimate denial. And then he survived, so I like how they always work things out. Now, as far as what exactly is going to happen to Michonne, I would love to hear what you guys think is going to happen to her. But like I said, she is going to survive, and in the comics, this isn't a spoiler or anything, but in the comics, Michonne, her character, now Michonne in the TV show is a lot different than in the comics. Like, her relationship with Rick isn't even there, so there's a big, different dynamic, versus her character in the comics. But still, they could do this where, in the comics, her character kind of goes off, and she goes off on this ship, and she basically wants to go look for her family, after All Out War. Now, All Out War is way gone now, and I think it's going to be tricky to do that now because she has, 2 young kids, Judith and RJ. So they could do that, and she could go look for family. But if they do that on the show, I feel like it'll be a little abrupt, because she has kids right there, taking care of kids, and she's like, I'm gonna go look for my family. I feel like that would be a little weird to happen on the show. So, that's just an idea to put out there, but I feel like the show is going to do something different. Now, what I would love to happen, and a really cool idea in my head at least, is if they get some sort of idea or some sort of sign that Rick is alive, and, Michonne goes after, and looks for Rick. I think that would be pretty, awesome, because we got a little bit of that in the beginning, when Daryl was looking for Rick's body, and he said, I never found a body. So in the back of his head, I feel like Daryl's thinking, like, yeah, Rick is alive. But again, they're dealing with the whispers right now, so they most likely aren't going to be thinking about that too much. But maybe later on, after the Whisper War, that can come back into play. Like, maybe Jadis comes back, or Gabriel says something, or maybe the helicopter comes back or something. They get some sort of indication or hint that Rick is alive, and Michonne is going to be like, you know what, I'm going to go with this community and check it out. But if she's going to go off with a random community, she isn't going to take RJ and Judith, because obviously she trusts the people back home. They can take care of her, or take care of them. So she's not going to bring her kids along. That way, Judith and RJ could stay on the show. And then, when Michonne leaves, we would end up seeing her in the Rick movies. That's the way I see it happening, because they did say that they are planning for her to somehow get involved with the Rick movies, and she's open about staying on the show. It's not like she wants to leave the show. It's scheduling issues. Same thing with Lauren Cohan. She's open to returning too. So with that being said, that's the way I see it happening. And honestly, this is some really good news in a way, because seeing Rick and Michonne reunite in the movies would be really cool. And if they want to bring both characters back into the actual show for a final season or final episode or something, they could do that. Or like I said, if the show, I said this in previous videos, if they somehow can come back to the show will most likely go to them, because the contracts that Norman and Melissa signed, part of their deals is that they can be involved in other AMC Walking Dead related things besides the main show. So I actually think this could have a really cool storyline in season 10 too, that would get fans excited, because they could give us a hint that Rick is alive, or somebody just comes out and even says he's alive, like Jadis comes back or something. They could do some really cool things with this, and I'm gonna leave it out there because I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Leave all your thoughts and opinions. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to talk about here, so leave your thoughts and opinions, and how do you think Michonne is gonna leave, and what do you want for a character and the reunion and all that kind of stuff in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. If any other news or anything comes out, I'll definitely make a video on it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.